Imagine a world where all your wishes come true, where your hopes, dreams and goals are not just possibilities, but real things. You've come to the right place. We're going to talk about a tip that can help you do that today. Stoicism is a philosophy of life that is not magic or a trick. Stoicism shows us how important it is to pay attention to our thoughts, actions and responses. By doing that, it shows us how to change our lives and make amazing things happen. We'll look at 15 important keys that will help you do that in this video. For each key, there will be a detailed explanation and a quote from a Stoic teacher that shows what it means. Now you can sit back and enjoy this trip into the heart of Stoicism. Ataraxia, or inner tranquility, is the first key. One of the Stoic keys to focusing on yourself is ataraxia, which comes from the Greek word for inner peace or indomitability. The Stoics thought that tranquility of mind, not joys from the outside world or other people's praise, is the key to happiness. By not wishing things were different, ataraxia is attained. It means realizing that we can only control how we respond to things that happen outside of us. We can find inner peace by letting go of our hopes and accepting what is. A well-known Stoic philosopher called Epictetus said, "You are not disturbed by things, but by the opinions you have of them." This phrase tells us that how we think about and react to life's events determines our inner peace, not the events themselves. Therefore, ataraxia is a strong tool for self-focus. You can focus on what really matters, your personal growth and development, by developing inner peace, which frees yourself from unimportant problems. Amor fati, or liking fate, is the second key. The second Stoic key is amor fati, which means loving fate. This idea tells us to love and accept everything that life gives us, good and bad. The Stoics teach us to accept problems as part of our journey instead of fighting them or being sad about them. Amor fati is the practice of seeing every event in our lives, even the hardest ones, as important and good for our development. It means realizing that everything we go through, no matter how hard or painful, is meant to teach us something important. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "Accept what comes to you, woven into the pattern of your destiny, for what could better suit your needs." This quote helps us remember that everything that happens in our lives is exactly what we need at that moment to learn, grow, and change. Believe in amor fati, to learn to see every problem as a chance to get better and every setback as a lesson to be learned. If you look at things this way, you can focus on yourself and your growth instead of getting stuck in anger or resistance. Proch and mindfulness are the third key. Proch, which means mindfulness, is the third Stoic key. The Stoics knew how important it was to live in the present and pay attention to what we were doing and thinking at that very moment. Proch is the practice of being fully present in every moment and not judging our acts, thoughts, or feelings. We should be aware that we can only control our actions and emotions in the present, and that our attention should be on doing the right thing right now. One of the great Stoic thinkers, Epictetus, said, "Do not ask for things to happen the way you want them to. Want things to happen the way they happen, and you will be happy." This quote tells us to accept things as they are and pay attention to how we act and respond. You can learn to focus on what you can control, such as your own actions and emotions, by learning proch. Instead of thinking about things outside of your control, this mindfulness will help you concentrate on yourself and your personal growth. Key 4. Eudaimonia, or the good life. Eudaimonia, which means the good life or happiness, is the fourth key of the Stoics. The Stoics thought that living a life of virtue and purpose is where real happiness can be found, not in passing joys or in accumulating wealth. According to Stoic philosophy, eudaimonia can be attained by living in harmony with nature. It's realizing that our own acts and character, not outside events, are what make us truly happy and satisfied. "It is not the man who has little but he who desires more who is poor," said Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher. This means that our true wealth and happiness come from our character and acts, not from the things we own. Eudaimonia is a strong tool for self-focus. You can find permanent and worthwhile happiness by living a good life through virtue and purpose. Memento mori means remember that you are going to die. It means remember that you are going to die, and it is the fifth key of the Stoics. This idea makes us think about how death is inevitable and encourages us to live each day as if it were our last. Memento mori is the act of thinking about our own deaths, not to scare ourselves, but to motivate us to act. When we remember that our time on earth is limited, we can enjoy every moment more and live with more purpose and energy. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, said in his book, Meditations, "Think of yourself as if you were dead. You have already lived your life. Now, take what is left and live it properly." This quote helps us remember that every day is a gift and we should make the most of it. Remembering that you are going to die soon can help you enjoy every moment and live each day with purpose and thanks. Instead of stressing out about things you can't control, this viewpoint will help you concentrate on improving yourself. Sixth key point: stress, self-control. Enkate, which means self-control, is the sixth key of the Stoics. Stoic philosophy recognized the importance of self-control in leading a good and happy life. Controlling our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors is what enchantment is all about. It means being able to fight temptation and stay calm when things get tough. The Stoics thought that having self-control helped us live by our values and beliefs instead of letting our emotions or outside events bring us down. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Freedom is not secured by the fullness of the things one possesses or by the abundance of pleasures, but by the absence of desire." This keeps us in mind that real self-control doesn't mean holding on to our wants, but taking them away. You can learn to control your thoughts and feelings by learning Enkate. This will help you focus on yourself and your advancement. Affiliation is the seventh key. Being a part of something is the seventh key of the Stoics. The Stoics thought that everyone is part of a bigger group and that each person has a duty to help other people be happy and healthy. Affiliation is the process of realizing our interdependence with others and behaving in accordance with that link. It means realizing that what we do affects other people and that we need to think about this when making choices. A Stoic philosopher named Heracles came up with the idea of concentric rings of belonging, with the self at the heart and family, friends, community, humanity, and finally the world around it. This model helps us remember that we are a part of something bigger and that what we do can affect people other than ourselves. By practicing association, you can learn to think about how your acts affect other people and make your neighborhood a better place to live. This view will help you focus on yourself and your growth while also making a difference in the lives of others. Love for humanity is the eighth key. Love for humanity is the eighth key of the Stoics. The Stoics thought it was important to be kind and generous to other people. Being kind and generous to other people without asking anything in return is what it means. People who practice it know that they are part of the same human group and have a duty to care for and help others. A well-known Stoic thinker named Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote tells us that no matter what, we always have the chance to be kind and generous. You can learn to be kind and generous by doing this, which will let you focus on yourself and your growth, while also helping other people. Key number 9, moderation. Moderation is the 9th key of the Stoics. The Stoics thought it was important to keep your life in balance and stay away from too much. It means trying to find balance in every part of our lives. It's knowing that too much of anything, whether it's pleasure or pain, can make you unhappy and cause you to suffer. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "Wealth is not having many things, but having few needs." This quote tells us that real wealth and happiness come from living a calm and reasonable life, not from getting more things or enjoying more things. You can learn to find balance in your life and stay away from too much by doing this. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. Key 10. Tell the difference between the things we can and cannot control. Focusing on the things we can control and accepting the things we can't is what the Stoics thought would lead to a happy and peaceful life. It means being able to tell the difference between things we can control, like our acts and thoughts, and things that happen outside of our control. It means realizing that we have no control over the things that happen to us, but we do have control over how we react to those things. A well-known Stoic philosopher named Epictetus said, "It is not things that bother us, but our thoughts about them." This quote tells us that how we think about and react to life's events determines our peace and happiness, not the events themselves. Focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't control together can help you learn this. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. Anticipate evils is the 11th key. The Stoics often did an exercise where they imagined the problems or issues they might face in the future. It is the act of thinking about and getting ready for problems that might come up. It's not about being negative, it's about being ready and having a plan for what to do if things don't go as planned. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "The wise man always thinks that trouble is possible and is therefore ready to face it." This quote tells us that being ready for the worst is what makes you wise, not hope for the best. Through practice, you can learn to expect and get ready for problems, which will help you stay calm and collected even when things get tough. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. Universal relationship is the key. 12. People who followed the Stoics thought that everything and everyone is related to everything else. It means being aware of our link to the world and behaving in a way that matches that bond. It means realizing that what we do affects the world and that we need to think about this when making choices. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman ruler and Stoic philosopher, said in his book Meditations, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This quote helps us remember that we are all connected and that what we do can affect people other than ourselves. Through this practice, you can learn to think about how your activities affect the world and make the general community a better place. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. 13th key, arete, which means character greatness. The 13th key of the Stoics is arete, which means great character. Stoics thought that following nature and becoming a good person were the most important things in life. The process of developing morals and living in line with our values is called arete. It's realizing that our own acts and character, not outside events, are what make us truly happy and satisfied. A well-known Stoic philosopher named Epictetus said, "Do not try to make things happen the way you want them to. If you do not want things to happen the way they happen, you will have a peaceful life." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we understand and react to life's events, not on the events themselves. You can learn to develop a good character and live in line with your morals by learning arete. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. Key 14. Duty. Many Stoics thought that everyone has a task or moral responsibility to themselves and to other people. It means doing what we need to do because it is the right thing to do, not because we have to or because we're afraid of what might happen. It means being aware that what we do affects other people and ourselves, and that we should follow our beliefs and standards. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman ruler and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Do what is in harmony with the nature of a good man." This says that it is our job to live a good life and act in line with our nature. Being consistent with your ideals and principles can help you learn how to do your job in a way that is in line with your tasks. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. 15th key, Logos, the reason for everything. The last and 15th Stoic key is Logos, which means universal reason. The Stoics thought that there was a natural reasoning or reason that ran the world, and that we should try to live in balance with this reason. The technique of using reasoning and reason to seek truth and knowledge is known as Logos. It means knowing that our actions and choices should be based on logic, not on our feelings or wants. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic thinker who said in his book Meditations, "Whatever happens, happens the way universal nature wants it to happen." This quote tells us that we should try to understand universal reason and live in peace with it. By using Logos, you can learn to live in line with general reason and make smart choices. This point of view will help you concentrate on yourself and your growth. How the ideas of Stoicism can help us stop being afraid. Today, when social media can make us feel like we're always being judged and compared to others, this is a very important topic to talk about. But what if we could learn to feel better about ourselves, calm down, and be at peace with ourselves? Today, when social media makes us feel like we're always competing for likes and support from other people, Stoicism can be a powerful and calming way to look at things. It teaches us to pay attention to what's important and build up inner strength that lets us handle any problem with ease and confidence. This movie will show you 8 keys based on Stoicism that will help you stop feeling dangerous. For each key, there will be a full description and a quote from a Stoic thinker that fits with what we are talking about. We will talk about ideas like ataraxia, the dichotomy of control, and how important it is to live our lives according to our ideals. So, this is for you if you've ever felt uncomfortable or had trouble with your self-image in this digital age. You are about to go on a trip that will change your life and help you find inner comfort that doesn't depend on likes or fans, but on knowing and accepting yourself deeply. 1. The control dichotomy. To stop feeling unsafe, the first Stoic key is to understand and use the paradox of control. This is one of the most important ideas in Stoicism. It means figuring out what we can control and what we can't. One of the most important Stoic thinkers, Epictetus, put it very simply. Of the things, some depend on us, and some do not depend on us. Here is a quote from a Stoic thinker. "It is better to do it straight than to seek the approval of others." Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. In what ways does the dichotomy of control help you feel safer? When we worry about things we can't control, like other people's opinions or what might happen, insecurity frequently results. Keeping your attention on the things you can control will help you feel less anxious and stressed. For example, during a job interview, you shouldn't worry about whether or not you'll be hired. Instead, you should focus on how you can best present yourself, tell the truth, and show off your skills, which are all things you can control. Also, being aware of this contrast helps you calmly accept the results, no matter what they are. If you think about it, you've already done everything you could, and the rest is just the way life is. Acceptance gives you a strong sense of inner security that doesn't change when things go wrong in the outside world. When you feel unsafe, ask yourself, is this something I can control? Let go and focus on what you can change if the answer is no. Over time, doing this will become second nature, which will make you feel a lot less insecure and help you live a calmer, more confident life. 2. The ataraxia. Ataraxia is the second Stoic secret to overcoming fear, and it can be developed. The Greek word ataraxia means unshakable tranquility or peace of the soul. For the Stoics, reaching ataraxia meant staying calm and peaceful no matter what was going on around them. How does one go about doing ataraxia? Ataraxia means training our minds so that we don't let things going on around us bother us. This doesn't mean being uncaring or not caring, but rather learning to deal with things as they come up without getting too upset about them. Seneca, a Roman Stoic philosopher, said, "We feel hurt when we get a small wound. A true sage doesn't feel the blow of a bigger wound because he is always armed with unshakable firmness." A Stoic philosopher once said, "The mind that is free from passions is a citadel. Man has no stronger fortress in which he can take refuge and remain impregnable forever." Please read this. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. How does this help you feel safer? When we let our feelings get the best of us and let outside events have a big impact on us, we often feel insecure. For instance, getting a bad review on a social network can make us feel bad about ourselves or question our abilities. By practicing ataraxia, we can stay cool and not let these bad feelings get the best of us. By having an ataraxia attitude, we can calmly deal with criticism and judgment from other people. We can look at the situation clearly and decide how to answer in a healthy way instead of responding on impulse or because we are hurt. This way of doing things makes us feel less anxious and insecure, so we can stay calm and confident even when things go wrong. I'm going to give you some exercises. 1. Meditating every day. In order to clear your thoughts and pay attention to the present, meditate for a few minutes every day. Focus on your breathing and let go of any thoughts that come up, especially ones that are negative or make you feel bad about yourself. 2. A calm thought. Finally, at the end of the day, think about what happened and how you could have been more calm. Did you act without thinking? Was it your feelings that got the best of you? Find things that could be done better and make plans for how to achieve greater ataraxia in the future. 3. Challenges that can be managed. Try to find controlled settings where you can practice ataraxia. For instance, give yourself some helpful feedback and watch how you respond. You will feel more self-assured and in control of your feelings as you get used to staying calm in these circumstances. To sum up, ataraxia is a very useful skill for dealing with feelings of fear. We can stay calm and sure of ourselves even when things are unclear or bad happen if we work on being inner imperturbable. 3. Follow your values in your daily life. 3 Stoic keys to ending insecurity. Living in line with your values. Make sure your actions are in line with your core values. According to the Stoics, the key to eudaimonia, or healthy happiness, was to live a good and moral life. How do you live your life based on your values? To live in line with your values, you need to figure out what your main beliefs are and make sure that your actions are in line with them. To act in a way that is in line with what you really value in life, you need to know yourself and be disciplined. Epictetus said it very well. First you say what you are, and then you do what that says, because you are what you say you are. I'll now give you a quote from a Stoic literary figure. It's important to know that we can't control everything, and that's the first step to happiness and freedom. The Handbook of Life by Epictetus. How does this help you feel safer? When we compare ourselves to others, or try to live up to what other people want from us instead of following our own values and beliefs, we often feel insecure. For instance, we might feel unsafe if we're chasing a job or way of life that doesn't really make us happy, but that we think is what everyone else wants. You can get out of this self-made jail of comparison and uniformity by living by your beliefs. You can make real decisions and follow your own path in life if you pay attention to what's important to you. This gives you a sense of direction and purpose that isn't based on what other people think, which makes you feel less insecure and more confident in yourself. I'm going to give you some exercises. 1. Evaluate yourself. Think about your most important ideals and beliefs. What does life really mean to you? What are your greatest hopes and dreams? Figure out what your core ideals are and make sure that what you do is in line with them. 2. Making choices on purpose. Take a moment to think about whether an important choice is in line with your morals and goals before you make it. Should you make this choice, it will either bring you closer to or farther away from what you value in life. 3. Make sure you have good limits. You should learn to say no to requests and expectations that go against your ideals and goals. You can improve your confidence and self-assurance by setting healthy limits that help you keep your identity and integrity. In short, if you want to get over your fear, you have to live by your morals. By making sure your actions are in line with your core values, you can live an honest and meaningful life without having to look for approval from other people. This will help you build strong self-confidence. Gratitude is number 4. The 4th Stoic way to stop feeling nervous is to train yourself to be thankful for everything in your life. The Stoics thought that being thankful was a key part of living a happy, useful life. How does one show gratitude? As we go through life's challenges and problems, practicing gratitude means being aware of and thankful for the good things and chances we have. This doesn't mean rejecting or downplaying pain. It means realizing that there is always something to be thankful for, even when things look the worst. One of the most important Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius, said, "When you wake up in the morning, think of the precious freedom to breathe. Think, enjoy, and love." Someone from the Stoic school of thought once said, "When you lose the will to live, remember that you have lost the will to be thankful." Seneca, on happiness. How does this help you feel safer? When we focus on what we don't have or what we think we should have instead of what we do have, we often feel insecure. For instance, we might feel unsafe if we don't have certain things or if our lives don't meet certain norms of success. Thankfulness helps us fight these bad thoughts and develop a positive attitude of plenty and satisfaction. Focusing on the good things and chances we have in life makes us more positive and hopeful, which in turn makes us feel safer and more self-assured about ourselves. I'll give you some real-life examples. 1 is keeping a thanks notebook. Writing down the things you are thankful for every day will help you stay on track. This can include important people in your life, big events, or even small joys that happen every day. 2. Practicing mindfulness. Paying full attention to the present moment and developing a mindful respect for the little things in life are ways to practice mindfulness in your daily life. Finally, show your appreciation. Thanks the people in your life who have made a good difference by taking the time to say so. Saying thank you in person, by writing a note or sending a text message is all good ways to improve relationships and make people feel loved and like they belong. To sum up, being grateful is a key part of getting over fear. Being thankful for the good things and chances we have in life can help us have a more positive and hopeful mindset. This will keep us from comparing ourselves to others and help us build strong self-confidence. 5. Being able to deal with uncertainty. To stop being afraid, The fifth and final Stoic key is to accept uncertainty. This means learning to be calm even when things are unsure or changing. People who followed the Stoics thought that life was full of uncertainty, and that how calmly we could deal with it affected our inner peace and happiness. What can you do to deal with uncertainty? Being open to and accepting of life's natural ups and downs is a big part of accepting uncertainty. We learn to accept uncertainty as a normal part of life instead of trying to avoid or fight it. This doesn't mean giving up and letting bad things happen to us. Instead, it means realizing that we can't always control what happens in our lives and learning how to deal with it. Epictetus said, "The first and most important thing a man must do is know himself." "Don't worry about the future, focus on the present," said a Stoic sage. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. How does this help you feel safer? We often feel insecure because we are afraid of the unknown and change. We might feel unsafe if we don't know what will happen in the future, or if our lives don't go the way we planned. Accepting that things might not go as planned can help us get over our fear of change and have more faith in our ability to handle problems that come up along the way. By being open to and okay with uncertainty, we can lower our stress and worry and develop a deep inner peace that isn't affected by what's going on around us. I'll give you some real-life examples. One is meditation for mindfulness. Focus on your breath and let your thoughts come and go without judging them for a few minutes every day as you do mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation makes you more aware of and open to the present moment, which in turn makes it easier to deal with uncertainty in a calm and peaceful way. 2. Pay attention to the present. Instead of dwelling on the past or worried about the future, pay attention to what you can control right now. Being mindful helps you stay in the present, which in turn lowers the stress and worry that come from not knowing what will happen. Third, get used to giving up. Let go of what you don't know and trust that life will work out as it should. Accept that while you can't always control what happens, you can always control how you react to it. Free yourself from the stress and worry that come from trying to control everything in your life by learning to surrender. To sum up, letting go of fear means accepting doubt. When we learn to be calm even when things are unclear and changing, we can develop a deep inner peace and self-confidence that aren't affected by what's going on around us. Every word in the world has two sides. Have you ever felt like the things you say hurt you after you say them? Have you ever felt bad about giving away too much in the social chess game we play every day? The things we don't say are just as important as the things we do. We often think that being honest makes us look good, but we don't realize that it can also hurt us. The truth is that some people may be happy about our successes, while others may hide their lies and envy. There are times when being discreet is not just a choice, it's a must for our own safety. Find out the 8 things that smart people who know about the Stoics never tell anyone else. Prepare to engage yourself in the art of caution, and by the time this trip is over, you will not only know these old secrets, but you will also be ready to incorporate them into your life. Are you ready to alter how people see you? Keep listening and change the way you see things. 1. Your plans for the future. Giving someone else our life's tool before the paint is dry is like telling them about our plans for the future. Sometimes we feel like telling other people about our hopes and dreams for the future, but this openness can lead to things you didn't expect. With their focus on virtue and self-control, the Stoics warn us that the future is full of threads of doubt. By telling other people about our plans, we not only make ourselves vulnerable to envy and criticism, but we also give possible enemies knowledge they could use against us. Envy is a strong feeling that can hurt people. When we talk about our plans for the future, especially the ones that make us happy, we might make other people jealous. This envy can show itself in a variety of ways, from quiet resistance to overt mischief, and it can stop us from building what we want or even destroy it. Did you know that the Bible has great suggestions for success that most people don't read? Proverbs 13:3 backs this up. He who guards his mouth guards his soul, but he who opens his lips wide will have disaster. In a world where posting everything about our lives on social media is normal, the Bible tells us not to. And this isn't just advice to be careful with, it's life advice. Also, when we tell them about our goals, we give them power they shouldn't have, the power to make assumptions. We may feel extra pressure from these demands, which can become a drag not only for ourselves, but also for those around us. Even if they want to help, some people may cast their own problems, worries, and fears onto us, causing doubt or disappointment before our projects are finished. There are also people who, because they are competitive, will use the knowledge we share without meaning to copy, hurt, or beat our plans. We can also become lazy when we talk about our ideas with other people. It is a psychological fact that talking about our goals can make us feel like we've already reached them, which can make us less motivated to actually work on them. The Stoics tell us not to get this false sense of progress. Keeping our plans to ourselves, on the other hand, lets us change our minds as needed, without having to worry about what other people will think. There is a Stoic philosophy that says being able to adapt to change and be flexible are more important than having a set plan. By not telling anyone about our goals, we keep our freedom to change our course as the winds of fate blow. So, keeping our plans for the future secret is a way to keep ourselves safe. It saves our hopes from outside forces that might try to stop them, and it also keeps us from holding on to a future that doesn't exist yet. When they say that action is more important than words, the Stoics tell us that the future is made in the present. Our inner strength grows when we stay in the present and work quietly toward our goals. This power doesn't come from approval from other people. It comes from knowing that we are doing the work we need to do to reach our goals without having to make speeches or proclamations. Think of your plans for the future as seeds that you plant in the garden of your life. If you tell other people about them ahead of time, they might step on them out of jealousy or competition. Giving them quiet care, on the other hand, lets them grow roots and bloom to their fullest potential. Don't you think it's more satisfying to see your plans come true through your deeds than through your words? Do not look away from the work you are doing now. When the time comes, everyone will be amazed at what you have done. 2. Your money matters. Prudence and discretion are more than just techniques in the world of personal finance. They are extensions of a philosophy of life that promotes peace and balance. Being honest about your money, like your account amounts, investments, or bills, might look like a sign of trust and sincerity to other people. However, this openness comes with risks that we might not even notice, but which can have huge effects on our lives. A great Greek philosopher named Aristotle said, "Wealth consists much more in enjoyment than in possession." This means that real wealth is not in having lots of things, but in being able to use and enjoy those things in a useful way. Possession by itself is meaningless if it doesn't lead to something that makes your life better. As Aristotle said, real wealth comes from making the most of what you have and enjoying it. Stoic philosophy, on the other hand, focuses on peace and the soul's ability to take care of itself. Stoics value peace and being able to handle their own feelings, which suggests that material wealth should be used in a way that supports inner tranquility rather than disrupting it with fears about the outside world. The Stoics tell us that true tranquility comes from exercising some restraint in our financial matters with their calls for balance and caution. Disrespect not only keeps our inner peace, but it also keeps us safe from anger and envy, which can upset our peace of mind and the peace of those around us. When we talk about our money in public, We might be unintentionally fueling envy, a feeling that is often hidden behind smiles and compliments, but has the power to destroy relationships and turn mutual respect into rivalries. When you're successful financially, other people may see your flaws or mistakes and judge you negatively, which can lead to anger and comparisons. It's also touchy to talk about debt. Sharing money problems can cause quick judgments and a skewed view of oneself. Even though giving can help you feel better, it can come at a high cost. Our financial plans for the future are full of ideas and goals that could be misread, undervalued, or even destroyed if they are made public too soon. Not sharing financial information is not the same as hiding it. It's picking what to share carefully to keep our financial path safe from envy, scams, and unfair judgments. This level of privacy is very important for managing the complicated world of personal spending. To put it simply, being secretive about your money is just smart. You know that having peace of mind and being stable are more important than any number in your account. Choosing to live a life without glitz is, in the end, choosing to live a life where what counts is what makes you truly happy and peaceful. 3. Problems with other people. Everyone has problems in their personal life, just like there are clouds in the evening sky. But letting these arguments slip out is like leaving the windows open on a rainy night, letting the wind and rain in and upsetting the peace and quiet of our home. The Stoics teach us that it is better to keep these shadows away by working out our differences in private, away from outside eyes that might make the storm worse with their own winds. When we talk about our inner problems in order to feel better or get support, we open ourselves up to mistakes and complaints that can make things worse. Instead of healing, this kind of information can make the fight worse and touch more people than were originally involved. Also, when we talk about our disagreements in public, we run the risk of being seen as troublesome or careless, which could hurt our reputation and reliability, especially at work. When we talk about our problems, we give other people the right to judge, comment on, and sometimes get involved in things that should stay private. Always keep in mind that resolving a disagreement is a delicate process that needs time, thought, and often the help of neutral third parties. Keeping our personal disagreements private not only keeps our privacy and image safe, but it also keeps our relationships strong and strengthens our inner peace. When we are in disagreement, let us remember what the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said: "True wisdom is knowing that one does not know." Let us be humble and calm when we talk to other people, and let's save our fights for the right times and places. We will be able to build better, longer-lasting partnerships based on shared respect and understanding instead of anger and disagreement. We run the risk of making things worse, as if we were giving the crowd an empty painting and telling them to add their own brushstrokes. The end result might not be at all what we had in mind. Because of this, Stoics settle their disagreements alone, making sure that the end result is true to both parties, ourselves and the other person. Also, by keeping disagreements out of the public eye, we escape the extra drama that often comes with shared disagreements. When we settle our disagreements privately, we can be honest and open about our feelings, which is something that is missing from public play. When we're alone, we can talk about our worries and hear what the other person has to say without worrying about being misunderstood or judged by people who don't know the whole story. This conservative way of thinking isn't just about avoiding bias. It's also about finding the best and most honest answer. Like an alchemist who works in secret to change metals, we work on the chemistry of our relationships by turning disagreements into chances to learn and grow together. Choosing to keep private arguments and differences out of public view is a wise and kind thing to do for ourselves and others. This habit not only helps us settle disagreements better, but it also helps us build and keep a strong public image that shows we are mature and can handle the complicated parts of human relationships with honesty and respect. By working out our differences alone, we're in line with the Stoic way of looking for balance between ourselves and others. We understand that while we cannot control other people's actions, we can choose how to react to them and follow a road that shows our desire for harmony and peace. Think of your personal problems as the tree's roots. They're there to help it grow, but you can't see them. There are differences between you and other people. By working out these differences in private, you let the tree of your life grow tall and strong without showing the world the complicated parts of its base. Does it matter what you think? Would you rather settle disagreements alone or with other people? Post a comment here to join the discussion. Your story can motivate other people. 4. Your fears in life, just like showing your chess moves, can lead to a loss. As experts in fighting their own minds, the Stoics knew that fears are like game pieces that need to be kept safe. When you show your fears, you give your enemies a picture of your flaws, your weak spots, and your Achilles heel. This lets them play a dangerous game where they have the upper hand. Because of this, Stoic advice tells us to hide our fears and work quietly to get rid of them. Fear, the strong feeling that makes us feel most vulnerable, is also a tough teacher. As important as it is to learn about our flaws and fears, it also teaches us how to get past them. But this lesson is private and shouldn't be shared with people who might not understand or care about what it means. One wise thing that the philosopher-ruler Marcus Aurelius said is that our life is what our thoughts make of it. If our thoughts are full of fear, our life will also be full of fear. Being brave and careful when facing our fears is important. If we change the way we think and what we say, we will change our inner world and, by extension, our life. It takes strength to work through our fears in silence. Not being afraid is what makes us unique. Having the strength to face it is. When we face our fears and are alone, that's when we really become who we are. To get through this process, we need to be patient, persistent, and most of all, have faith in our ability to change. Stoic practice asks us to think about our fears, talk to them, and figure out where they come from. To get rid of the power that fear can have over us, we need to have this inner conversation. Not only does this free us from its chains, but it also gives us the power to act with more freedom and honesty. In this inner conflict, silence is our friend. There is no surrender in this silence. Instead, it is a busy silence full of inner work and personal growth. This silence is where change happens, where fear turns into strength and weakness into knowledge. Now, to dig deeper into this lesson, I'd like to suggest the following activity. 1. Know that fear is a normal feeling that comes up when you think there is a threat. 2. Know that fear is a normal part of being human. 3. Look at your fears with an open mind. 4. Ask yourself if the danger is real or if your mind is making things worse than they really are. 5. You should put your energy into things you can control. Although you can't stop feeling scared, you can control how you respond to it. 6. Think about the worst thing that could happen and how you would handle it. This makes you feel less anxious because you know you can handle what will happen. 7. Even when you're scared, you should follow your beliefs and morals. This makes you stronger as a person and gives you the strength to deal with problems in the future. By holding back our fears, we not only keep ourselves safe from possible enemies, but we also give ourselves the chance to surprise everyone with how strong we are. Every step we take forward with confidence shows that we have overcome our fears. It's a quiet but loud win. 5. Problems with family. Every person's life is built around their family, which is a place of closeness and personal relationship. Stoics believe that family unity is like a precious gem that should be carefully protected from the opinions and effects of other people. The Stoics, who stressed virtue and self-control, taught us that real strength comes from keeping the family together and loving each other out of the public eye. The Stoics, who were masters of tranquility, teach us that the family is not only a place to escape the storms of life, but also a place where the ideals of the mind can be developed. People form characters and polish their personalities in the safety of their own homes, away from the looks and opinions of the outside world. The three main ideas of Stoic philosophy, patience, understanding, and love that doesn't depend on anything else, are learned here. Every member of the family, with all of his or her flaws and virtues, adds to the wealth of shared experiences, lessons, and love. Every act of kindness and word of support makes it more valuable. Epictetus said, "There is no harbor safe for those who fear the storms." However, family is where we can find safety, where we can firmly plant our trust, and where we can face problems knowing that we are not alone. The Stoic philosophy tells us to keep these relationships close and not let outside factors mess with the balance and peace that exist within them. As a Stoic would say, each family is a microcosm that shows how the world works is order and reason. Each person in this small world is very important and helps the others grow and be happy. So, family problems are dealt with by first trying to understand and solve them within the family, rather than letting issues and conflicts get out into the open where they can be misunderstood or used against the family. Stoic knowledge says that smart people don't talk about what's going on in their family, not out of fear or shame, but because they respect how holy those ties are. Families can deal with problems better if they keep them a secret. This builds trust and strength within the family. The family is a gift that, while it doesn't always come without problems, helps us grow and learn. Like a secret garden, the family needs to be cared for and valued so that each person can grow in an environment of acceptance and support. The wise words of the Stoics help us understand that real wealth is not judged by money or things, but by the strength of our relationships with family and friends. Sixth, ties of love. Love life is complicated by feelings and ties. It's an important part of being human that should be dealt with care and understanding. Because the Stoic philosophy stresses balance and emotional control, it tells us to keep these private facts out of the public eye. When we talk about our relationships in public, we run the risk of mistakes and opinions that could hurt us. Every open confession and piece of information shared on social networks can turn real feelings into a show that can be misunderstood, criticized, and even judged negatively. This kind of pointless publicity can put pressure on a friendship that should grow on its own. Socrates said that love is like a fragile plant. It needs care and safety to grow. Just like plants, relationships need a safe and private place to grow. When we talk about our love lives or troubles with others, they may give us tips or spread rumors that don't help, and can even make things worse in a relationship to the point where it can't be fixed. In times of conflict or split, on the other hand, the privacy that was once protected is a blessing. The process of healing and reinventing oneself is naturally private, and it can go more smoothly and honestly when it's protected from public view. So, it's best to keep things private when they are personal. This not only keeps outside factors out of the relationship, but it also lets both people feel safe and honest with each other. Think of your love life as a private book. It holds the most private and important times of your life, and they don't have to be seen by everyone to be real. Keep those special times just for you and your partner, and you'll find that trust and respect grow in your relationship. Think of your love life as a secret yard where the most beautiful flowers of closeness and desire grow. Every feeling and link is given the care and attention they need in this garden, just like the farmer who takes care of his plants alone and enjoys their beauty in peace. In the same way, we should take care of our love ties away from other people's eyes and views. In this garden of love, every promise made, every whispered word, and every touch is holy. They are pure acts of love that don't need approval or praise from others. Instead, they find worth in the closeness of the relationship between two people, and trust is the best proof of love, improving the basis of a relationship that can last through life's ups and downs. Let's approach love with the knowledge of someone who knows that what's most important is not what's shown, but what's lived close to home. May our love life be a poem written in the quiet of the heart and a song sung in the solitude of the soul. May the privacy of our love give us the strength and beauty of a true and lasting marriage. 7. Your acts of kindness. Some actions, like undercurrents, have the power to change things. The acts of kindness are strong, quiet forces that feed the souls of both the source and the receiver, even though they can't be seen. In strange ways, what you give comes back to you. The prize might not be something you see right away, but it could be the balance and peace that comes from living by your core beliefs and values. In contrast, bragging about our good acts can, unfortunately, make them less valuable, changing kindness into a way to promote oneself. According to Stoicism, virtue in and of itself is sufficient gain. The philosopher-ruler Marcus Aurelius told us to do good things not because we want to be praised, but because they are the right thing to do. So, generosity isn't a show for the gallery, it's a test of character and being real. Epictetus also taught us that being truly generous means doing good things for other people without expecting anything in return, not even applause. Being truly generous is learned through judgment. By not telling anyone about our charity work, we show that the main goal is to help, not to get attention for helping. This method protects the recipient's honor and keeps our goals pure, making sure that our actions come from a genuine desire to help. And even more importantly, whenever you feel the urge to brag about your good deeds, remember that Jesus of Nazareth, the Bible's Savior, said in Matthew 6:1, "Beware of doing your righteousness before men, that you may be seen of them. Otherwise you have no reward from your Father who is in heaven." It helps us remember that we should do things for the sake of virtue and self, not for the approval of others. So, by choosing to keep our acts of kindness secret, we are not only protecting the purity of these actions, but we are also encouraging people to think more deeply about what it means to help. We are changing the idea of charity so that it isn't seen as a way to get ahead, but as a real concern for the well-being of others. We are creating a heritage of kindness that can't be seen, but has an enormous effect, and is God's gift. 8. Criticizing other people. Judgment follows us around all the time. A lot of the time, we quickly judge others based on what they do, say, or choose, and we name them as selfish, careless, or incompetent without even thinking about it. We think about these words like dry leaves being blown by the wind. What good does this automatic judgment do for us? Is it smarter, kinder, or more joyful? There is no way to answer that question. Instead of understanding, we get stuck in a web of biases and assumptions that destroys our inner peace and unity. This keeps us from seeing the truth and brings us closer to conflict. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, said, "What matters is not what happens to you, but how you react." This quote tells us that we can choose how to respond to anything, even how we judge other people. This is what the Stoics say should be done instead. We should decide in silence. A quiet that shows interest, not one that doesn't care. Picture yourself as a spectator in a theater, watching life as a play. You don't cheer or boo, you just watch. We can watch without getting in the way, like an expert looking at a cell under a microscope, because there is silence. We become part of the human experience without changing it. We look at the lights and shades, the happiness and sadness, without judging. We can learn from this act of control. We learn about other people, but we also learn about ourselves, what makes us mad, what motivates us, and how we can make our own lives better. People who are stoic are not apathetic, they are smart. Before making a decision, they try to understand. When someone does something that confuses or annoys us, let's not judge them. Instead, let's ask ourselves what is going on. That person may be dealing with personal issues, and their story may be more complicated than we think. It's not the same thing to understand as to justify. While we're not saying everything is fine, we are saying that when we understand, we can act on purpose instead of responding without thinking. We are careful about what we say and do. We and other people will gain from this. When we let go of the need to judge quickly, we become the builders of our own freedom and inner peace. Like Cicero or Epictetus, the Stoics tell us that we should understand things before we judge them. We do not respond quickly. Instead, we act. Imagine that every contact with a person is like looking in a mirror and seeing both your strengths and flaws. Ask yourself, what does this say about me, before you judge? How can this person teach me something? I want you to try this exercise. Whenever you find yourself in a scenario where you would usually judge someone, stop and think about the possible causes of their behavior. Let's try to come up with an answer that makes sense. This can not only change how we feel about them, but it can also help us be more patient and understanding. To help you remember what you've learned, I'd like to end with a story that really shows what this video is about. A group of animals lived together in peace in a forest far away, where the trees told stories and the shadows kept their vows. The most beloved of them was Lionel, the lion, who was known for being brave and smart. But Lionel had a strange habit. He never told anyone, not even his best friends, what he was going to do in the future. Sophia, a curious squirrel, came up to Lionel one day and asked him why he wasn't telling anyone about his plans. Lionel, with a calm face, said, "Dear Sophia, in this forest, every word we say can blow away like a leaf in the wind and fall on the wrong ears. Like the Stoics, I think it is best to act discreetly and let my actions speak for me." Sophia was interested, so she chose to do what Lionel said. Over time, she noticed that some animals who told her their plans often ran into problems she didn't expect. Some gave up because they were jealous, while others got comfortable and lost the drive to reach their goals. Like in chess, the squirrel knew that not all of the pieces had to move in full view of everyone. Not telling anyone about her plans gave possible competitors an edge, but it also let her work on them without feeling pressured by what other people thought of her. In the end, Sophia easily and happily reached her goals. She finally got all the animals together and told them what she had learned in the quiet forest, that wisdom is like a tree with roots that support it. In the same way that someone who watches what they say watches over their soul, someone who watches over their plans watches over their future. So, the lesson of this story is clear. Being careful is the key to success. The person who shares less moves closer to their goals more slowly and surely. And if you want to learn more about Stoic philosophy, I invite you to watch this video. In it, I will show you 7 secrets of reverse psychology that will help you use rejection as a springboard to success. You can find me in the movie you see on the TV,